Standing to the right portion on there.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Guildhall, and welcome to Lincoln, a city which no doubt many of you are extremely familiar with, although a bit later on, with the help of my esteemed colleague, you might see some of our history that perhaps has eluded you. To start the proceedings, I would like to hand over to the clerk of the Freemen, Tony Gadd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Sheriff, Sheriff's Lady, Secretary of Freemen of England and Wales, fellow Freemen and guests, thank you very much for being here today. It's a great pleasure to see so many of you here and to be investing 6 new Freemen to the city. We have also got 4 associate Freemen who will also be receiving their certificates today, and we do welcome them on board. Maybe seems a long time, but it's 60 years ago this week that I was invested here as a Freeman. And I'm quite pleased that 2 of my grandchildren are being invested today, along with the other 4 people here. You're all as important to the city as anybody else. Lincoln is a fine city. The Gild of Freemen and Freemens go back into dark history. I know some of you might laugh about that, but our heritage goes back really into Roman times, and Lincoln is a Roman city. And it is so good that we keep this part of our history going. It has had rocky times, as practically every organisation that I know of. It has good times and it has bad times. In 2000, Lincoln took the lead with 2 other guilds to invest ladies. It was frowned upon by some, but after a struggle of about 3 years, it had to be a unanimous decision of the trustees that we invested ladies, and we eventually got it through. And since then, the Guild has gone from strength to strength. We have a good relationship with the local authority, and it is very pleasing that we get invited to take part in civic ceremonies in the city. And long may it continue. We do appreciate that. I am sure that it is good both for the city to see that its heritage is being upheld. I'm not going to say any more than that, but to ask you, Mr. Mayor, if you would please invest, firstly, the two gentlemen to be invested as Freemen of this city.
I shall be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
I shall be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
And to my power maintain and defend the franchises,
And to my power maintain and defend the franchises,
privileges, jurisdictions and charters of this corporation,
privileges, jurisdictions and charters of this corporation,
and perform, execute and do all such duties,
perform, execute and do all such duties,
offices and things that I am liable and ought to do,
offices and things I am liable and ought to do,
as a franchised man of this city,
as a franchised man of this city,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Charles Henry Stewart Gadd, would you please receive your certificate? Smile for me. James Mapleston. Ladies, I now call on you to take the oath. I shall be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
I shall be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II,
And to my power, maintain and defend the franchises,
and in my power maintain and defend the franchises,
privileges, jurisdictions and charters of this corporation,
privileges, jurisdiction and charters of this corporation,
and perform, execute and do all such duties,
and perform, execute and do all such duties,
offices and things I am liable and ought to do,
offices and things I am liable and ought to do,
as a franchised woman of this city,
as a franchised woman of this city,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Eleanor. Steve Powell. Doreen Webb. Paul John Benton. Finally, Roy John Houlden. Sorry, Roy Frank. Having one of them days. If that's the worst thing that happens today, I will be well. Ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you, Tony.
Mr. Mayor. Welcome on board. I know that the Freemen get their certificates and become invested as Freemen in their own right. They have a right to be Freemen because of their ancestry and the services to the city. The associate Freemen are ones put forward for what they have done mostly towards the Freemen and the city, not because of their right but because they wanted to. I would point out to the Freemen that your certificates that you have before you this morning were all printed by Charlie Powell. Charlie is a great assistance, Mr. Mayor. I know she is indeed there to you, but she is to the Freemen as well, and thank you very much. I would point out that as Freemen, it's not what Lincoln can do for me, it's what can I do for Lincoln. The Freemen now are primarily a charitable organisation. We don't have any say in the runnings of the city, but we do, or try to do, a lot for the city. That is our objective. I mean, this year we've subscribed to the tank memorial on the roundabout, we've subscribed to Bomber Command Memorial at the top of the hill, and we've also taken part in the reinstallation of the Eleanor cross down at St Catherine's. And towards that end, we also support other charities. In November, we're running a concert at St Catherine's, and I'm having a plug here. We want as many people with bums on seats is what brings the money in, and the funds from that are going to the Mayor's charity, which is Lives, and the other half towards the garden for the Eleanor Cross and to the completion of that project. And I do hope that as many of you will be there as possible. But we do also have a social side, and on the Saturday of Armistice Day we have the social at Cannock, and I do hope that as many of you as can get and live in this area will be available to come. with us today we also have Nick Johnson on my left here. He is Secretary of Freemen of England and Wales, which is our umbrella organisation, and I will ask you to say a few words to you, Nick, if you would speak to the Freemen. Thank you.
Your Worship, Mr. President, Master, officers, Freemen, ladies and gentlemen. I've prepared a few short notes, but before I do, I have to tell you that I drove up from London this morning and I had to stop on the M1, on the A1, because there was a clip broadcast on the radio, short section about Magna Carta, and realising that you are one of 4 cities where a copy of Magna Carta still exists, I thought it was worth stopping because I was laughing so much. I'm laughing because I know what's coming. And it was a clip about Tony Hancock, a comedian who's no longer with us. And it was a clip from his broadcast of the show which was called The Foreman of the Jury. And he's trying to convince the other jurors that the thief is innocent and they all know he's guilty. And Hancock actually stands there while they're all sitting down and he says, "Does Magna Carta mean nothing to you? Did she die in vain? A brave Hungarian peasant girl who forced King John to sign the pledge at Runnymede and closed the pubs at 10:30. For all this to be forgotten." I thought that's got to be fitting, bearing in mind that in the back room here is the Freeman Baron as well. So I just thought I'd share that with you. It is evident from all your happy, smiling faces that you're all very pleased to be here today. Becoming a Freeman of a town, a borough or a city is certainly a proud moment in one's life. Knowing that you have ancestors who probably lived here and worked here, helping to make Lincoln the city that you know and love today, is something that each and every one of you can feel justifiably proud and honoured. You share such feelings with freemen and free burgesses from over 40 other towns and cities and boroughs around England and Wales. And it was due to such feelings of pride in being a freeman that 50 years ago a man named Harry Ward founded in 1966 the Association of the Freemen of England and Wales, because he saw with remarkable intuition that the constant slandering of many of these two countries' finest traditions might also include that of the freedom. It was due to this foresight that ensured the creation of a cohesive body of freemen covering both England and Wales, which could not only be a national lobby and mouthpiece for the freedom, but also a means of advising and leading freemen's guilds on matters concerning common law, the law of custom, and the statutes of this realm. Only 5 years needed to pass before Harry's prophetic concept was put into action in his involvement with the Local Government Act of 1972. On studying the bill when it was first published in 1971, he saw at once the death of the freedom. Acting on his own initiative, but aided by those guilds, including Lincoln, and members who had already rallied to his side, parliamentary and legal assistance was sought and given. And following many visits and lengthy talks with relevant government departments, the reaffirmation of the ancient privilege and custom of the freedom was included in Clause 248 of the Local Government Act of 1972. Today there is no doubt that without Harry Ward's initiative and foresight in creating our association, and without his drive and determination, that clause would never have been included in the Act. And had that happened, we today would no longer be freemen. One of those FEW member guilds is yourselves, the City of Lincoln Freemen's Guild, and it is thanks to historic responsibilities that your guild and the City Council, led by your Mayor, continue observing important traditions alongside your Guild President, your Master and his officers. As you've heard, my name is Nick Johnson and I am the FEW Warden for South East England and London. And I am also the Acting Warden for Eastern England and Anglia. Since September the 12th, I have been elected as Secretary of the Association, and I stand before you today in the robes of an officer of the Association that was founded by Harry Ward. You might also want to know that all FEW officers and wardens are unpaid volunteers. Part of my role in my capacity as your warden is to liaise and help your guild officers build and organise, so that you, as freemen, become to regard your freedom as a highly valued and esteemed privilege, and to be worthy citizens of Lincoln, loyal to the monarchy and your country, and managing as best as you can to live your life with dignity, self-respect, good humour, kindness and charity towards those who are deserving within this city and your own communities. You, new freemen, start out today at an exciting time in the modern history of the Freemen of Lincoln, with the Lincoln Barons having made their appearance around the city centre earlier in the year, which proved to be a very successful tourist attraction. Even the Freeman Baron figure of John de Lacy was part of the 800th celebration of Magna Carta, and the figure was auctioned on October the 1st along with the other barons, as you may know, raising a total of £167,000 for the Trussell Trust. In addition, next September will be the 70th anniversary of the death of Sir William Triton, who was one of 3 people who were involved in the development of the tank here in Lincoln. And where would modern computing science be today if not for George Boole and his laws of thought and the logic of algebra, from which later mathematicians built Boolean logic? He was born right here in Lincoln. Then there is the Lincoln Sausage Festival later this month that celebrates all things sausage. Whilst during the same week is the Frequency Festival of Digital Culture, which plans to celebrate Magna Carta by transforming your iconic venues and medieval buildings with digital light displays. And waiting for the right future moment in their ground in Ashby Avenue is arguably the finest football team in England, when the Whites will begin, it is said, a meteoric rise to the top of the Northern Premier League. So many things for you to be proud of in Lincoln. Those of you who are now new freemen have just taken part in a moment in time that is steeped in historic tradition. And like everything else that is famous and notable about Lincoln, it will continue to be a moment of pride for you, for your family, for your guild, and for the wonderful city of Lincoln. Thank you.
And I hope that a lot of you have taken this on board about how famous Lincoln really is. He mentioned Harry Ward and the start of the Guild. The President's Jewel was in actual fact presented to the Guild in Lincoln at the formation of it in 1972, when, believe it or not, I have a photograph of one of the Freemen sitting at the side here when he had shoulder-length hair and was at the dinner in the Avenue. He had the dinner at the hotel there.